Hey everyone, welcome back to Quest for Clicks podcast. We have had a very busy week, and it's a very special week this week because we are celebrating Chloe's birthday.
Happy birthday!
So we've got a lot to talk about this week, so I guess we're going to dive right into it then. What's everyone's week been like? What have we been up to in the Quest for Clicks?
Good question. I didn't really think about answering that one at all either. This week. So this week we're going to EGX. Which is very cool. We're going to be going tomorrow because Simon is speaking on a panel on Friday. For those who don't know, EGX is effectively Comic-Con mixed with Eurogamer. So the two of them combined. So it's like a gaming festival, and at the same time, we get Comic-Con mixed in with it. And Simon is going to be talking on a panel about... I believe the subject of the panel is basically how content creators can leverage their brand to build other businesses and build products for their audience and things like that. So we're all heading to London tomorrow, which would be nice. So by the time this podcast goes out, this would have been and gone. But looking forward to that. So subjects for this week on the podcast, I believe Molly's got some questions for us.
I have.
Where would you like to start? So I think the main topic that we put aside to discuss this week was kind of what platform, or the question was kind of what platform should you be creating content on as a content creator? So say you were starting creating content in 2025 rather than 2024, it's basically gone. But you were looking to grow an audience, which platform would be the right one to choose?
So we'll start off with, do you think every content creator should have their own website? Or can they get by with just using social media platforms? It depends what you mean by a website, though, because I would class Linktree as a website, and I think it's really important to have something like that directs you to every platform. I never click on those things. If I've gone to click on that, I don't know, I've never clicked on someone's Linktree.
Hot take, but I'll be honest, I kind of agree, because I feel like Linktree just basically gets used to promote people's OnlyFans.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's got a bit of a bad reputation these days, isn't it? That its origin was to basically... Because obviously the origin of Linktree was to bypass Twitter's policy about websites, right? Elon went crazy and was saying he didn't want other networks promoted on his Twitter. So he was blacklisting people's profiles if they were to have redirections, because he didn't want his website to be basically almost like a redirect to another website. And that's where Linktrees came from, and now it's just farmed by mature audience content. Is that the right way to put it?
As someone who was mainly creating for short form platforms like TikTok and Instagram, those creators found that they can't make enough sustainable money from those short form platforms. They need to make accounts on every short form platform and then platforms like YouTube. So they needed somewhere to put all of their links in one place, because you're limited. Instagram's got better with it. You can now add more links to your profile, which is great. But places like TikTok, you're extremely limited on what you can put on there. So it's always been a directory for all of their stuff, so they can keep making that moolah.
Yeah. No, I mean, and that's a very valid point. And I'll be honest, based on that actually kind of goes back to my full response, I guess, to that question, is that I honestly believe not just a Linktree, I think every content creator or anybody who wants to create any kind of income online should have a website. And the reason for that is because if you put your heart and soul into a platform such as YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, anything like that, all you're actually doing is putting content on somebody else's website. Okay, now building a website from scratch takes time, but at least you own the content, you own the distribution for it. There's nobody that can ban you from your own website, whereas you could easily get DMCA'd or something like that on YouTube, TikTok, anything like that out of the blue, and suddenly your income source is gone. So I am very much strongly of the belief that anyone who's looking to get into content creation or just any kind of generation of income online should leverage social media platforms and these other websites, but pull the traffic through to their own website as well. Because in the long run, I honestly think it would massively pay off.
Yeah, it's a safety net.
I think. I will go for the birthday person. Go on.
Yeah. Back in your box.
Get privilege. I'll go back to my corner.
I think it's a safety net as well, because like when TikTok was like supposedly getting banned, or it might still get banned in the US, all these US creators were like, well, I need to send these people somewhere else, otherwise I'm going to have no job. And rather than sending them to other platforms that also might die, you've got somewhere like a website that the internet's not going to die. So that's a safety net.
Hopefully, anyway. The power might go out.
Maybe.
That'd be a problem.
And I think for me, as a creator, the biggest thing that a website gives you value for is a bit like what you said, Dan, in terms of independence from, essentially, if you're creating on YouTube, you're dependent on the success and viability of YouTube. If YouTube all of a sudden decides, a bit like Vine, when Vine went under and Vine was closed down, then your entire platform is at risk. It's what we see a lot in when we cover individual games. It's like, well, we're kind of like codependent on that one game being always relevant, and the moment it's not, is your relevancy as content creator. What a website effectively, for me, gives you is a brand presence. So when you start getting up into dealing with sponsorships and things, they can kind of look at you less as a YouTuber or less as a Twitch streamer and more as you are a content creator because you have a brand, you have an awareness, and obviously that will then transition into what you see. What we see a lot of long-term content creators do, which is transition away from regular content generation into starting their own businesses and brands. And I know that, for example, Valkyrie's just started a anime studio, I think, or like I can't remember exactly which, like a 3D animation studio.
Oh, awesome.
And you've got Ludwig's doing off-brand and doing those sort of production events. We've got all the different drama with Mr. Beast and KSI stuff about Lunchleys, and this week's sort of discovery about moldy cheese within their Lunchables or whatever. So
really, I haven't seen this.
Yeah, there's a creator who I think does food reviews, and she bought because there's this big thing about Lunchables and Lunchly or something. There's two different, they're basically the same thing. And she bought the new one, Mr. Beast one, and let's just say all the cheese was not normal cheese, but a bit like blue cheese because it was moldy, even though it had 2 months left on it. So that caused a bit of a stir. But I think you see that once you get beyond a certain point in time, when you can't do content creation forever. Right, that's just not viable for a lot of people. You don't want to be sat there into the 75 years old making YouTube videos hoping that you hit one of 10. So I think having a website gives you a brand presence, and it's also great for searchability. Like when people start looking for you and looking for your brand, then it's going to be more discoverable on a website than it is going to be on YouTube when you're competing with 1,000 other videos.
Yeah, and I think as well as that, although it's kind of seen that it's extremely difficult to grow a website from scratch now, it's only because it's been around longer. The process for building a website, growing authority, getting traffic on it and things like that is no different than getting exposure on YouTube. You just want to obviously focus on searchable content that grows your Google authority, I guess, over time. And it's no different to YouTube. I mean, YouTube and Google, obviously they're owned by the same company, but they use very similar algorithms in terms of user engagement and where to rank it. At the end of the day, that Google as a company has no prejudice, because what they want is people to keep using their platforms. So when they search for something, they want to provide their users with the best possible resource to give the answer. So as long as you focus on high quality content, and it's not easy, it takes time and it takes a lot of effort. You can't just kind of half-assed it and expect to see the results when there's thousands of other people doing the exact same thing. But that's no different to creating on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, or anything like that. You have to bring value, and I personally think, although it's a longer road to grow on these platforms, because you can't really go viral on a website unless you were to post some like ridiculous news thing which just got shared everywhere. But it wouldn't be going viral in the same way, because it's more of a slow, drawn-out process where you build authority over time. But that snowball effect, once you do start to grow, is far greater potential than even, the YouTube and things like that, especially in terms of earnings, because you're earning potential with something that you strictly own. If you look at YouTube as an example, obviously you take a split of the ad revenue that YouTube generates. Obviously, this isn't including sponsorships and things like that, but with your own website, you're not getting a split. You are getting the ad revenue that's generated through your website, and that can give you a much larger kind of slice of that pie in terms of revenue and income.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so. And I was going to say with the website, the big thing that I think a lot of creators should remember is it's just like completely opposite to YouTube. YouTube is all about, hey, the first 48 hours are crucial. I really want to hit that 1 of 10. You get a lot of everything up front, unless you're pretty much an evergreen creator, which I don't think anyone on YouTube could classify themselves as like a permanent evergreen. Like you're still chasing that really big hit. Whereas a website is very much like, oh, well, I might not see anything for 2 months of progress. And it can be disheartening. And I think any content creator that starts on a journey of like creating their website and creating their brand for the first time, like you almost want to accept that it's going to be terrible for a while until it's better and not get disheartened. Because I see so many people think, oh, I started a website, nothing happened. I'm like, but it's not going to for a while. But that doesn't mean you're doing a bad job. It just means that you need to let it, as you said, the domain authority needs to grow, your relevancy needs to grow. Because that's exactly what Google wants. It wants relevancy. So the more relevant you become, the more stronger your domain will become.
Yeah. Okay. Well, having said that, how important, so you're a content creator, you have your own website. How important is it to keep driving traffic from platforms like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok? Like, do you think a creator will ever be able to just rely on their own site?
I think to an extent, you can rely on search engine traffic, but you are bang on the money there. The most important thing that you can do with a website to grow quickly anyway, and to get authority is to get content on other platforms, and send people over to tools, guides, and things like that are hosted on your own platform as well. Because effectively, whereas I was saying before, with the website, you can't essentially go viral, on social media platforms, you absolutely can. And you can use that to leverage and create content and just let people know about it. Not to mention, one of the key dynamics that websites are looked for in terms of their authority and how Google would rank it is backlinking and page authority. And a lot of that is established by having content linked from other platforms to your website. So the more kind of engagement that you can get off-site in terms of off-site SEO going to your core home base, the quicker that snowball, I guess, is going to grow. I personally don't really know. I know more about YouTube, Facebook, and things like that. But obviously, Chloe, you've got a lot of experience with short form content and things like that. How do you find it with people engaging, I guess, with clicking onto other sites from short form content?
Difficult. It depends if you're looking at organic or paid content. So in terms of organic content, your call to actions have to be very clear that you're going to benefit by clicking the link in the bio or something like that. In fact, there's a whole trend right now of saying that it's wrong to say click the link in my bio. I completely disagree with that. I think that that's the only way you're going to draw traffic. People are saying you should DM people the link and stuff, and like that's so much effort. But so paid content is great. The platforms give you more tools to be able to draw people to other places. For instance, TikTok give you the option to, if somebody clicks on the screen or clicks on your profile picture, that directs you straight to the website rather than your TikTok page. So that's way more amazing than the organic approach, which is click the link in my bio. But I think it's really important to have a presence on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of the above, not just to draw the traffic, but to give yourself some credibility of being a brand that is there with a voice and has conversations with the community. I'm really big on community, and I really think it is important to not just be posting, but to be in the comments talking to these people, because it'll give them more reason think, oh, this is a credible brand. I'm going to go check out what they're actually doing on their main source, which is the website. Yeah.
And I think with short form content as well, it is the best source of acquisition for new people, like new audience and new engagement. So if you're like, music content creator, I pretty much depend on pre-existing and other audiences. I don't do an awful lot of short form content, but it is the best way to generate subscribers and generate, new audiences is the short form content, because people are traveling, people
I
have it on their
consume
phones.
so much short form content. It's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I am literally a fiend for doom scrolling.
And I feel like the more you engage with it, the worse it becomes. It's like I'll just go on Twitter for 5 minutes, and then all of a sudden like, oh god, oh god.
There's no
oh
such
god,
thing as
oh
5
god.
minutes.
But it's a powerful tool, and then the more you are across different platforms, then of course Google is also indexing those things. So it's kind of like connected to what we're saying first. Like if you just exist in one little location, well, that's the only place that someone can look for you. But if you happen to be in like 7 different locations, then when people are looking for something, say like I go on Google and I search for, hey, I really want to see this Minecraft video. Your video comes up, maybe your Twitter comes up, maybe your TikTok comes up, and then all these things will create relevancy and interconnection, like weave it all together.
In fact, I'm finding it funny that considering Google and YouTube are connected, that when you search certain things on Google, the videos that come up straight away seem to be TikTok videos rather than YouTube videos. And I think it's because they know they're easily consumed by people. So they're being boosted.
Yeah, but that also ties into the fact that, Google just wants to be the platform that people use. So if they think that the most relevant result or the most engaging result that somebody's going to go and look at is TikTok, then, they can't argue with it. I think actually TikTok back during COVID actually exceeded Google's traffic.
Yeah.
For the first time in like 20 years or something like that, Google was actually outranked on traffic for a month, and it was by TikTok.
Well, TikTok is becoming a search engine in itself now. They have these features within app. In fact, so much so that people are excited to get this like blue comment and become a search term. So a blue comment is if you comment on someone's video, say for instance, like someone posts a video in a shopping mall and you will comment underneath it. What's this shop I've just seen? Like something really open or random. It will turn that question into a blue link. You click on that, it takes you into the search engine of TikTok and give you all the videos connected to that. Or alternatively,
cool.
You can just search on TikTok and it'll give you like a ton of stuff. And then as you scroll through that, it will take you off in a different direction completely.
Down the rabbit hole. Love
exactly.
it.
But it's off different search terms within that term. It's crazy and fantastic. And people are literally using it as like, rather than going to Google and going, am I dying? They'll go onto TikTok and go, I've got a cold, what's wrong with me? It's weird.
I'm not sure I would take medical advice from TikTok. That's a bit scary.
All the doctors are on TikTok. You need to go on there. It's great.
I mean, it's just easily consumable. It's the human psychology of being lazy. It's like,
yes.
How do I get my answers as quickly as I possibly can? If TikTok's the one that's giving it to me the fastest, then TikTok becomes the number one. That's why Google was so popular for so long. It was like, oh, Google can just tell me the answer. Why do I need to think? Why do I need to use my brain or anything like that? We are always trying to find ways to basically not use the things that we're meant to be using, which is our brain. And
well, we were talking about the other day that you go to the GP for them to sit there and Google your symptoms.
Oh wait, they do, yeah.
So
don't get me started. Don't get me started on the National Health Service in the UK. Like everyone who's watching thinks it's amazing that it's free and everything. It's really not. It's terrible. I'd rather pay for it. I'd rather be bankrupt and go to America than have treatment in our country. It's terrible. But they do.
That is a wild take.
You do. You go in there, you sit down, you say, oh, yeah, how are you feeling today? And you think, oh, well, I've got this pain in my knee and I've got this, Tough Mudder broken rib thing that happened that I'm still trying to get over. And I'm pretty sure my nose is permanently damaged from the ice bath we went into that totally wasn't ice water, but mud. But you sit down and then they go on the PC and they tap away and they go, are you allergic to this thing? And then it says, the computer says you need to take this. I'm like, thanks, GP, who's paid a lot of money that basically just Googled my problem and told me the answer. But okay, I'm sure your Google is different to the normal Google, but even though it probably uses the same search engine, let's be honest, I mean, these systems are all interconnected. But why would I want to do that? And it would take an hour. It's just a waste of my time. I'd rather just die. It's easier.
We need some context. Wow.
It's easier.
We need some context on the Tough Mudder things.
Yes.
The one with the
irony of this
Netflix.
fall. Okay, the irony of that one clip is that is not the side that hurts the most anymore. It's the other side. And I don't even know how I hurt the other side, but that's the side that hurts the most. And I'm pretty sure my rib is now permanently not going to be right again because it's malformed. It's misshaped.
No, we just need to take you again. It's fine.
I can't
It's
believe
fine.
I found out that Dan and Molly were at the top of that thing and they didn't catch you. I've only just found that out.
To be fair, in their defense, when they got pulled up, there was like 4 or 5 people, and then everyone just abandoned them to basically deal with my 6'3" frame of like pointless muscle what doesn't
We
exist.
could literally send that video into You've Been Framed and get like 100 quid.
We-
Do people
we
still
could.
do that?
Is that still a thing?
£250.
250 is
No.
actually
Is
quite a
it
lot more.
250?
Yeah. You should do that.
Back
It'd be
in the
great.
day, my nan sent in a video of their cat and got 100 quid.
Nice.
Yeah.
Speaking of videos of cats, I posted a picture of a video of my
Oh.
cat on TikTok and got 2,000 views in like, I don't know, like 3 hours or something like that. It
You
was
did
fun.
get a nice
People
like
love-
ratio to that as well.
Yeah.
Because like TikTok is renowned for getting views and no likes, but you've got some likes on that too.
Oh yeah. I
Have a
told you
look
I
where
could go
you're up to.
viral. I can do this
no,
TikTok
you-
thing.
you
Your
did
cat
not
went
go
viral.
viral. Your
I'm
cat
like,
went
That is
viral.
viral. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
It's like taking credit. I know you feed it and take
Mr.
care of it.
I
Whiskers.
raised him. I raised him as a creator. He was born to create content.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
cat videos were the start of like video content on the internet,
Oh,
right?
they'll be the end of it as well.
Then-
Like the whole world will be coming to an end, and just somebody will be liking a cat video just as like doomsday comes and a meteor hits the earth.
Well, there's a Twitter account called, was it Bootsy and something like that, and basically he posts like animal videos, like dog videos and stuff. And he got banned once, and I've never seen so much outcry of like disgust. Everyone's like, "This is terrible. Delete Twitter. We want it back." And like, because it's like the most, I think it's the most popular one. I don't know the exact name, but I've never seen such an outcry of people going, "The world is ending because my regular person that posts cat and dog videos is banned on."
I mean,
There's a misban or something. I don't know
if
what
the
it was.
doggist, have you heard of the doggist? If he got banned from any social media, I would uproar. He's a guy in New York who
was.
goes around with his camera, asks people if he can take pictures of their dog.
Oh,
Interviews
I've
them.
seen
Yeah,
his videos. Yeah,
I love him. He's got like dog knowledge, but then like takes the best pictures of these cute, brilliant dogs. Just love it.
Awesome. Guys, we're gonna have to cut the podcast short. I'm afraid. I know we.
I had
Talk for
way
quite-
more questions, but we
Well, I tell you what, we'll write those
spent...
questions
Oh,
down,
it took too long.
and
Whoa,
maybe we'll
whoa.
create some short form content whilst we're in London answering some of these questions. I think that can be the way to go, because unfortunately I have another meeting which I have to dive off to, and I cannot miss this one. But yeah, for those of you who are obviously watching the podcast, really appreciate you. If you do enjoy the videos that we put out, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And this podcast will be going out weekly, so we'll see you in the next episode.